Happy Sunday, CTM Monarchs. This is Dr. C coming to you from my office this week for the week of March 7th. We have lots and lots of things to share. I hope that you are watching this video and excited about returning to school. I know that I am. I'm looking forward to seeing all of our students that are choosing to return to school very, very soon. It's Women's History Month, and we're going to talk about return to school as well. So I have lots of information about our hybrid schedule. We have some information about our tuition-based pre-K that begins on March 22nd. I want to remind folks to make their choice of learning options, whether it's hybrid or in person. I am going to talk to you about what's the schedule for hybrid learning. We have a parent night that is planned for this week on March 10th. We're going to go over the supply list and then some basic weekly reminders for this week. So as you know, the Board of Education voted in February, at the end of February, to return to school using a hybrid model for all students. So we are still getting details as we go from the district, but what we do know right now is that classroom assignments will change for some teachers and students. Teachers have been notified as of Friday of their tentative grade level assignment, whether it's hybrid or in person, hybrid or virtual. We are not taking requests for teachers at this time. Parents can change their learning choice right now. We are unsure if there's going to be a deadline for that. We also know that ECE students will have the option of in-person 4 days a week. We'll talk about that just in a moment. And then tuition-based pre-K students. Our hybrid schedule for tuition-based pre-K students begins on March 22nd using the same alphabetical rotation that the other grades will be using. And so the cost for that will be 2 days, for 2 days a week is $54, and that must be paid by Monday of each week, and that payment will be taken online. We just got a new online payment system, and you can contact Miss Ross about that process. Something else that's important that we know, we found out on Friday, is that YMCA CEP will not be held at CTM for the remainder of the year. If you have questions, contact the YMCA. I know that that is probably going to impact some choices for some families. We have a parent information night on hybrid schedules on the 10th, and it's going to be at 6 p.m. via Zoom, and we'll send a link the day of the event. We also know that March 15th and 16th are going to be teacher prep days for teachers, and they will be asynchronous for students. And so online participation will count for March 15th and 16th, but there will be no live instruction on those days. We also want to make sure parents who have students who are from households with different last names and also ECE students know that there are some changes that or some fine print that we have to make sure that you are aware of. So if you are a family that has students that have different last names, the district will be contacting you by phone beginning on March 9th, which is this Tuesday, and they're going to be asking you to make a choice on the day all of your children will attend. So please answer the phone if they call. So for example, if you have some kids in your house whose last name starts with an A and some kids in your house whose last name starts with an L, they're going to ask you to make a choice between in-person learning on Monday and Tuesday or in-person learning on Thursday or Friday. So just be prepared to make that choice. The district will be calling you about that. They have a separate system that they've set up, and they will be contacting parents starting on Tuesday and for the remainder of the week. The second piece that's important for you to know is that if you have a student who is ECE or receives special education services, whether they have a resource teacher that you work with, if you work with Mr. Stuckert or Miss Lee or Miss Fontana, or if your child receives speech services with Miss Norton, that student has some more options. So that student can either come to school on their A or B day, whatever their last name is. They can come 4 days a week, or they can become virtual. Those ECE staff, including Miss Lockhart, our ECE implementation coach, have been calling to see what parents want their students to do for the reopening if they plan on being in person or if they're virtual. Just to double check, please answer the phone when they call so they can get that information and help us prepare for the return to school. We want to remind you that you have two choices as a parent. You have in-person instruction for those 2 days on that hybrid schedule for students who are regular education, and then some other options if you are a parent of a special education student. Then we also have the virtual option, which is essentially the NTI situation for the remainder of the year. Students would be learning online 5 days a week. So we need you to make a choice. Either select here, and if you go to this PowerPoint, this Google slideshow, if you click on this picture, it will take you to this web page, okay? And then we also need families to complete, please complete all of your online forms. We are going paperless when we return, so it's important that you have all of your online forms complete. If you click on this link in the Google slideshow, it will take you to that web page. So again, you're going to pick either in-person instruction for the hybrid schedule or virtual instruction. You'll make your selection, okay? And then we also need families to make sure they complete all portions of the paperwork. It is important that we have that. Please know, parents, we cannot tell you what class your child is in if you keep on making different selections or you haven't made a selection. So the sooner you finalize your selection for in-person or virtual learning, the quicker I can tell you as the principal of the school who your child's teacher is going to be for the remainder of the school year. This is what the schedule looks like for early childhood, elementary, middle, and high school. Okay, now we're only focusing on early childhood and elementary. Please know that if your child's last name is between A and K in the alphabet, your in-person days will be Monday and Tuesday, and then they will be remote with the same teacher Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If your child's last name falls between L and Z, you'll be remote Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and in person on Thursday and Friday. If you are a special education student, if you're the parent of a special education student, your child has the option to either go Monday and Tuesday or Thursday and Friday, depending on their last name. Or the child can go 4 days a week. Or the child can be remote or virtual the entire week. It's up to you. We really need parents to make a decision and stick with it. Now, the dates of who is in person. So I'm going to give you just a moment to look at this slide. On Wednesday, March 17th, kindergarten through second grade students in Group A, meaning students with the last name A through K, will attend school in person for the first day. Kindergarten through second grade students receiving special education services, or ECE, will also attend that day. On Thursday and Friday of the week of March 18th and 19th, so that those 2 days, kindergarten through fifth grade students in Group B with the last name that starts with L through Z and elementary students receiving special education services will attend school in person that day. On Monday, March 2nd, kindergarten through fifth grade students in Group A, last names A through K, elementary students receiving special education services, and early childhood students, Group A, with the last name A through K, will attend that day. Wednesday, March 24th will be a virtual learning day for all students. Every student will have asynchronous work during that time. We will also be having a morning meeting for every class, every group that each teacher has will have a morning meeting between the hours of 9 and 9:30. Very similar to what we've been doing on Thursdays. Then on Thursday, March 25th and Friday, March 26th, we'll have kindergarten through fifth grade students, Group B, last names L through Z, elementary students receiving special education services, and early childhood students group B, last names L through Z. So again, if you are a early childhood parent, meaning your child is in pre-K at Coleridge Taylor, the students that we will be taking on Monday, March 22nd, are those whose last names are A through K. And then we will have those students come back on Tuesday, A through K, pre-K students, tuition-based pre-K students. And then on Thursday and Friday, the alphabet students whose names fall through L through Z will be on Thursday and Friday, March 25th and 26th for pre-K, early childhood. So you have questions. You want to know what we're doing. You know that there are changes. You know things are going to be different in person and also virtually because of the hybrid schedule. We want to talk to you. So our parent night is going to be on March 10th at 6 p.m. and it's going to be on Zoom. So all CTM parents, anybody who's virtual or who has chosen in person, we want you to attend. You're going to have an opportunity to learn about our return to school plans and our virtual learning academy. On March 10th at 6 p.m., that's when it's going to be held, and it's going to be on Zoom, and I will send out the link through School Messenger. And the reason why we're doing this is because we want to make sure this is successful for every single parent and every single student, and we need your participation, and we also want to hear your questions about our return to school planning and preparations so you can be informed, and we can answer any questions that you may have. Now, again, students that have different last names, remember, those students can come based on the choice that you make when you speak to somebody on the phone who's calling from the district. And then ECE students, we have to know exactly when you are going to be here so we can plan for that instruction. So please make sure that you're returning those phone calls with the ECE staff. A reminder that we have our in-person supply list that we have offered to you. If you click on this, excuse me, on this webpage, if you click on this picture on the Google slideshow, it will take you to the link where you'll be able to see this in-person supply list. And then we also have another supply list. There's a link down here that you can select or click on, and it will take you to what you need for at-home work. Okay, so for our remote days and also for our virtual learning students. As a reminder, ExactPath, Study Island, and Khan Academy will help accelerate your student. Your student should be doing this 30 minutes a day, 15 minutes for reading and 15 minutes for math. The teacher's going to monitor your participation, and this is student guided, so parents should not have to really interact with the student while they're working on this. As always, Ms. White, our school guidance counselor, is who you can talk to about your child's grades and how to access them on Parent Portal. There's also this video that she's put together for you to watch that is self-guided. Our last school-wide asynchronous Thursday is this week. Our last school-wide asynchronous Thursday is this week. Remember, on Thursday, every student will have a 9 to 9:30 morning meeting. And one other thing that I want to mention that is important is that every student is going to have 2 asynchronous days this week because teachers need extra time to set up their classrooms and get ready. So just know there's 2 asynchronous days this week. Participation counts and completing work counts. Please make sure that if you were attending live instruction, you're also turning in your work on time on the Google Classroom. We've had a lot of parents that have asked questions about, I know my student was on the computer working, but they are missing days. They didn't get participation. If your child is not actually coming to the Google Meets, they won't get participation. And if they're not turning in work, they're also not going to get participation. So make sure that you are following up with your child and helping us by monitoring their work completion. We have no more hotspots, No more hotspots left in the building, and we also have a shortage of computers, so please know that if you need a new computer, if there's something wrong with it, we may or may not have them in the building. You just need to call and check in with us. Also, please know that packets will be coming to a close. Our packet situation that we have been having on a week-to-week basis is going to be winding down. So if you are a parent that has been using a packet, you might want to consider switching to in-person learning. Remember, our CTM drive-through meal pickup is still going hot and heavy and strong each Tuesday and Thursday from 10 till 1. And we do believe at this point that that will still continue once we are on our hybrid schedule. Our CTM virtual learning expectations have lasted the test of time, and we're going to continue using them. Please take a moment and make sure that you understand what is listed here. If you have questions about the virtual learning expectations, please reach out and let's talk. Again, if we have issues with students not following those virtual learning expectations, we have our CTM virtual learning interventions that will start with the teacher and end with an administrator if at all necessary. As always, Mr. Baker and Miss White and any of our SCL supports are willing to help you out with anything that you might need. Please reach out to them via email or you can call the school. That's all for me. If you need anything at all around returning to school, please reach out. We love to hear from you and we're always willing to help. And we want to make this as smooth of a transition back into the building for your students and our staff as possible. So just reach out and let us know what you need. Have a great week. Carmichael out. Peace.